Yo, what's up, man? Another day in the life of the Warrior King and Prince DJ Nico. Now, as you can see, I got Mom Dukes working those muscles, getting ready for the summer, 66 years old and still getting that grind in. Got Pops in here too, keeping them healthy and strong, you dig? Then we got Miss Mary, 81 years young. And I tell you, it's such a blessing working with my elders and with my seniors, you dig? Now, before my evening sessions, me and Prince DJ Nico had a break. So it's spring break, he out of school, so I decided to take him to his little favorite arcade, hangout spot. Again, man, it's hard, man, working all the time and, you know, everything on my shoulders, but I make it do what I do, man, super dad, with ease, you dig? Now, I was reflecting on my last session, and I like to say, man, I love learning and listening to my elders. Because honestly, their knowledge and their wisdom is priceless. I think back to all the wisdom and jewels I got from my mother and father growing up that I deviated from, you know, when I got outside and jumped off the porch. Which is one of the reasons why I'm in the situation that I'm in today. Which now I finally understand what they used to say about being evenly yoked. Makes perfect sense now. Because when you deviate from what you were taught, your parents' teachings, and you get out here, you jump off the porch and you start living immorally, dealing with immoral women, you know, doing things that, you know, you shouldn't do, you know, the result is chaos in your life. And then after that, you got the long road of trying to get back on track. Because learning and watching your elders, you actually learn that, you know, you might not be perfect, but if you live a good life, you live a righteous life, you believe in God and you serve God, you have a long and healthy life and a blessed life at that. You won't go through all the pitfalls and snares and trappings of life of being broke or destitute or never having nothing or always struggling or always sick or, you know, just going through the worst things in life and your quality of life is just trash. All due to the decisions you made when you were younger and the things that you decided to do. And at the end of the day, it's really not worth it. Especially when you have kids. Because they really suffer the most due to your mistakes and the things that you decide to do as a parent. And that's why I have no problem telling my story and speaking the truth. And I really don't care, you know, who feel any type of way about it or who it offends. Because the truth is the truth, regardless of what you want to tell yourself or what you choose to believe. And going back to the evenly yoked part, a lot of times I found out in relationships or when you're dating or when you're seeing folks, things of that nature, people will get jealous or feel a type of way simply, you know, because of your upbringing or how you see things in life because of your upbringing. I mean, I can't help that my life was kind of like the Cosby's. You know, my dad worked, military man, had a good job. My mom worked, you know, she had a good job. We had a 2-parent home, middle class. You know, we didn't go through a lot of the craziness and chaos that a lot of other people grew up around or in. And I'm not going to apologize for that. Not sorry. And then you get out here in the world and you start dating or you marry people or you have kids with folks that don't come from the same thing, and that's when the problems start. Because at the end of the day, just call it what it is. It's a lot of hating going on. And a lot of times you be sleeping with the enemy and don't even know it. And it's crazy because you would think, you know, if you didn't come from that type of environment and your family life was all jacked up like your whole life, that when you finally got to be an adult and had kids, you would want the total opposite for your kids. But most time, that's not the case. Instead of listening and learning from your partner that did have that life and that background and can show you how we can have that, you know, for yourself and for us and for our kids, instead they take it as an attack. Like you're belittling them or you're putting them down, and then they go out and repeat the same stupid cycles that they've been through their life and that their parents did, and it just makes no sense. I mean, why take your kids through the same busted and disgusted life you grew up with as a kid or how your parents lived and messed you up? Why take your kids through the same thing out of pure jealousy, envy, and just hatred? And that's why as a man, I tell you fellas, Like your parents used to tell you, your grandmama tell you, be careful who you have kids with. Be careful. Be careful who you're laying down with. Be careful. And definitely be careful who you align yourself with and who you marry. You know, that's going to carry your name. Make sure they carrying it with honor and good character. You know, period and point blank. Make sure they have the same morals and values and the same vision you have for your family. Because you'll find yourself in a situation where you're fighting to save your family, you're fighting to keep your family intact, and the other person could care less because their family was never intact. Their parents didn't fight or do anything to lay a good foundation for them. So they see no problem with doing the same in their lives and in the lives of their kids. Like I said, man, it's crazy. But at the end of the day, you live and learn, you gain wisdom, and you definitely don't make the same mistakes again. You dig? And fellas, a rookie mistake, I tell you as a veteran, don't ever give anybody a title that they didn't prove that they were worthy of or that they didn't earn. Period. And point blank. You dig? Make sure they are mentally and emotionally mature. You know what I mean? Make sure they got a relationship with God in the spirit and in the word. That they don't just live and make decisions based off temporary emotions and temporary feelings that lead them down the road to nowhere. Similar to, again, a lot of what their parents did. Because being in a relationship, a marriage, having kids, having family, it's a lot of work. And it's not for the weak. And it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows all the time. There'll be dark times and there'll be dark days. But when you got the same morals, the same values, you're going to see your way through with God and the word as your guide. And you never put your own selfish needs or desires before your responsibilities, before your kids, or before your family. That's just something you don't do. But a lot of people weren't taught that. They never seen it because, again, they weren't raised right. They seen their parents do whatever, live however, do them however, and that's why they see no problem doing the same. And like I said earlier, it's really a damn shame, man. Because they seen where that road ends and where it leads, but they're still dumb enough to take the same path. Just makes no sense. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on the matter. About time to get back to these evening sessions. Y'all be cool out there, man. And remember, as a man, know who you are. Stand on your principles. Never compromise your morals for nobody. You dig? Another day in the life of the Warrior King and Prince DJ Nico.